Hello everybody, it's Connie Stewart with SimplySimpleStamping.com. I'm so glad you guys could join me for today's simple stamping video because today I'm going to blow your mind. We're going to create 9 projects. Oh my gosh, yes, 9 projects today using one sheet of designer series paper. Around here we call it a one sheet wonder. Now some one sheet wonders you may see a lot of measurements and a lot of cutting, but not today. Today we're using the Pressed Petals Designer Series Paper. It's very simple to work with, and we're going to use one sheet in particular that's going to help us create our 9 projects. I'm excited to share all these with you, so I say we better go get started. Let's go. Before we begin, I do want to showcase this gorgeous Pressed Petals Designer Series Paper. Now, it's called a Specialty Designer Series Paper because it is a little bit thinner than our normal Designer Series Paper. So this is truly meant to layer on cards. Guys, we have some gorgeous patterns. Let me show you the opposite side, because all of our papers are double-sided. So we have some gorgeous, look at this linen, fabulous. We've got a wonderful wood. We've got some very nice vintage paper going on. But today, I want to share with you how we're going to create 9 projects with this one sheet of the Pressed Petals Designer Series paper. Now, remember, if you're going to get 9 projects, we have 4 sheets in a package. That is 36 projects you can make from just this one pattern. So I say we get started. We're keeping it simple, as we always do on a simple stamping video. I'm going to focus on 2 colors today, Mossy Meadow and Merry Merlot. I'll also be using the Timeless Label Punch, although I have to be honest, we have a lot of different label punches. Any of them should work with this project. And then we're going to finish things off with the gold metallic edge ribbon. My stamp set today is the Enjoy Life stamp set. This has been one of my favorites, one of my go-tos. The fonts are amazing, and then we have some great images as well. So first things first, we do have to cut up our designer series paper. It is pretty simple. You guys can probably see right where to cut. So the first thing you're going to want to do is cut off that strip on the top, and we'll be creating 2 cards with that one. Then you're going to cut down your straight lines. Then you can start to cut those into pieces. Now, I do want to let you know, as you work, you might find that you have to cut off some little extra edges. Maybe you got a little too close. Don't worry about it. There's no wrong way to cut. If you cut too far into this one, don't worry about it at all. Trust me, when the cards all come together, you'll see what I'm talking about. So for card number 1, I've got my Merry Merlot, cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of Very Vanilla to go on the inside, 4 inches by 5 1/4. For my background, my vanilla cardstock is 3.5 by 3.5. And then my designer series paper, this pattern here, 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. Again, like I said, things may tweak, and that is fine. So before I start, you can see I have punched one of my timeless labels from behind my Very Vanilla. I'm going to adhere my designer series paper over that, so you won't see that we cut that out. I'm also going to adhere my Very Vanilla to the inside of my Merry Merlot. I stamped the Thank You Kindly in Mossy Meadow ink, and then there are a couple butterflies in the stamp set, and I stamped those in Merry Merlot. Very simple. Now I'm going to punch a window from the bottom of my Merry Merlot, just like so. So you can see I've got that Very Vanilla inside. This is an extra piece. Trust me, we'll be using that again. This one we are just going to attach right inside that window. So I have my snail here on the back, set that inside the window, and there we go. It gives it a little extra dimension. We can now adhere our focal image right here at the top. And then I have just a ribbon knot that I will press onto a mini glue dot. We'll add that there at the top. There we go, card number 1. All right, for this card, I'm going to use this focal image here with the daisies and all the pretty flowers. I did have to trim this down to 4 by 5 1/4. My Mossy Meadow cardstock is cut 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2, and yes, I adhered a piece of Very Vanilla to the inside, 4 inches by 5 1/4. Let's go ahead and adhere our designer series paper to the front. I've got just some scrap vanilla cardstock. This is 1 inch. Mine is 4 inches, but that does not matter. We're going to punch from the center of this. I'm going to stamp "Thank you kindly" right there in the center. I'm going to bring in the punch, and this is going to give my punch a very different look because I'm just going to line it up here in the punch, up at the top, the bottom, center it in the sides. You notice we get a very different size. Now remember that Mary Merlot that we punched out? We're going to use that, and we're going to adhere my "Thank you kindly" to it. And we can do that with just a strip of snail. We'll center that up. I'm going to say I've got about, 15 inches of the ribbon. I'm going to tie this in a bow right here in the center. And now I can just attach my tag right underneath. There we go, card number 2. All right, card number 3. So we're going to use this pattern here. I have cut that designer series paper down 3 3/8 by 4 1/4. I have a piece of the Mary Merlot that is 3 5/8 by 4 1/2. My card is a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. Yep, you guessed it, very vanilla, 4 inches. 4 inches by 5 1/4 inch. All right. Now from my Mary Merlot, you see I punched out 2 of my timeless labels. I can adhere my designer series paper over those punches. We are going to adhere that and center it here up at the top and the side. So yes, I've got a little bit more room down here. Now I've got a little piece of 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 very vanilla. And I'm going to stamp "I don't think I could" more than I already do. Yes, we're going to fill that in, but let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment. Okay, now let's come in with a Mary Merlot ink pad, and we're going to take the word "love you." But I need this to be a little bit lighter because that is a pretty dark color. So I'm going to stamp off on my grid paper. Now I'm going to stamp right here in this area, just ready for my "love you" sentiment. And let me just mention, there is also a "miss you." So I don't think I could miss you any more than I do. So you get to make a choice which one you want there. Those 2 punches, I am going to line up the edge, the right and left edge of my sentiment. And you can see it gives just a nice little border. So let's adhere those together. I can just put snail adhesive down each edge. And if you'll put that on upside down, you can see a little better that you're centering it up. Let's do that here to the opposite side. Yep, see how that little bit of vanilla peeks out? That's what's going to ensure I'm getting that on straight. Now we can add this to the front of our card, and we're going to line that up right there with the edge of our cardstock. We'll add another ribbon knot, and let's just put that right there in the corner. And just like that, card number 3 is complete. All right, cards 4 and 5, we're going to kind of create together because they're going to be awfully similar. You can see I've taken that long strip, remember that one? I cut this down to 5 1/2 inches, and it's about 1 inch. But that part, again, if you cut it a little shorter, it's fine. I have one cut 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. My other card is a 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to add snail down my designer series paper, and I'm going to adhere that, giving myself just a little bit of the Mary Merlot peeking out. Let me repeat that here. There we go. Now, I thought this would look really nice with a torn edge. So I'm going to give myself just a little tear to get started. The best way to tear is in little bits. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm kind of rotating whether I'm going to the right or to the left. You notice I'm tearing towards myself also. And it gives that nice rough edge. I really love that. Let's repeat that with this card. So I have snail adhesive. This is my 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 card. We will add that here at the top. And of course, on my remaining card, we'll add it here to the left side. I've got my 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, 4 inch by 5 1/2. Let's add that to the inside of the card. Now we'll come in with our punch. So I'm going to turn this card and give that a punch. And we'll punch this one where it's up and down. And how about we just stamp miss you and thank you kindly. I have a couple more ribbon knots. Let's attach one right here to the side of my thank you kindly, and my last one can go right there in the corner. Guys, cards 4 and 5 are complete. For cards 6 and 7, I've actually already done them because there really is not much to show you. But I have a piece of Mary Merlot and Mossy Meadow, and these have both been cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. There's my Very Vanilla inside, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And you notice for these, I literally just adhered the designer series paper and I stamped my sentiments inside and added my ribbon. Talk about easy. So on a scrap of Very Vanilla, you see I stamped Love You. I punched a little higher and then I added that little image. So I've got the 2 Mossy Meadow punches from my previous cards, cards 4 and 5. So let me show you what we're gonna do. I've added snail down the back of my sentiment, and I'm gonna give myself a nice little border there. Now I can attach this one to the other side, just kind of line it up. Now I can put snail down the back of my sentiment, and I'm going to add that to the front of card number 8. And guys, this card I cut the designer series paper much like I did the last ones. This is just 4 by 5 1/4. You see there's my little ribbon knot, my Very Vanilla here on the inside of my Mary Merlot card. For my last project, we're not going to create a card. We're going to create a little candy box. This is one of Stampin' Up's gold pizza boxes. And get this, I was at Trader Joe's and I bought these dark chocolate sea salt caramels because those are my favorite things ever. Well, when I brought it home, I smushed the box. Silly me. All right, so I can't do anything with that. But look what I did and discovered that it fits perfectly inside my pizza box. Look at that. It looks so professional. So, and it's going to be quite delicious as soon as this video is over. But I'm going to close up my box. These were very simple to put together. There's not even adhesive on it. It all just clips together. But do you love that gold? All right, now let's come in with our designer series paper. This is the very last piece, and it's cut 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. My Mary Merlot, 3 5/8 by 3 5/8. You're going to punch another one of the labels from the back. Now let's adhere these together. And now we'll adhere that to the top of our box. Do you remember the technique I showed you here where we stamped on the 1 inch by 4 inch piece of Very Vanilla and cut it down a little bit? We're going to repeat that. So there's my Mary Merlot. Here's my sentiment cut down. I decided to make this a little thank you gift. And if I don't eat the chocolate first, I will come in with 25 inches of ribbon. And let's add that to the front of our box. I'm going to tie it in a bow here on the right-hand side. I'm going to use 4 dimensionals, and I want to keep those as close to the top and the bottom of my label here because I want that ribbon to kind of go right down the middle. And my sentiment can go right inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Oh my goodness. 9 projects, guys. 9 projects with 1 sheet of that Pressed Petals Designer Series paper. And can we talk about how beautiful this paper is? Oh, I absolutely love it. It's just like beautiful photographs. I think it is gorgeous. And I love that we were able to create so much with so little. Now, if you want more information about my cards, grab those measurements. I know there were a lot. Well, good news. If you'll head over to simplysimplestamping.com, look for the September 14th, 2019 blog post. I'll have all the photos. I'll have the measurements for each individual card so that you can see what you need to create all 9 projects. And I've got a little secret for you. If you will scroll down in that blog post, you're going to notice that the Pressed Petals Designer Series paper is actually part of a special offer. Buy 3, get 1 free Designer Series paper. Yep. Who doesn't love to save money, right? So this is a great time to stock up on some of your favorite papers and also add that pressed petals paper to your order as well. Just go down, you'll see the complete supply list and you'll see photos. Click a pick. It's going to take you right to my online store. You can order what you need and of course take advantage of that special offer. Remember that it's only through the end of September 2019. So act fast. I want you to take advantage and get that free paper. Thank you again, everyone, for being here today. I hope you enjoyed the project. Hey, if you did, do me a favor. I would love a thumbs up on YouTube. That helps me so much. I love hearing what you like, and that thumbs up always gives me a little clue. And YouTube likes it as well, so we both appreciate it when you do that. And hey, if you haven't already taken a minute to subscribe, today's a great day to do that. You'll see a great big red subscribe button up there in the corner. Click it and it will let YouTube know that you want more from Simply Simple Stamping, and they'll send you notifications whenever I'm back with a new video. I share 3 videos a week with you, so I love to share a lot of stamping inspiration, and there's a lot more waiting for you over at simplysimplestamping.com, so I hope you'll check it out. All right, my friends, have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.